We are back to our commission meeting. Make sure we have Commissioner Lawson on with us.
I'm on.
All right, and we have the rest of the commissioners in the room. So we do need to go back real quick to the centralized surveillance because we do need to take a vote accepting the withdrawal of the petition. So we have a little housekeeping there. So we'll do that and then we'll move on. Do we have a motion?
I'll make that motion. I move to withdraw the notice of rulemaking as verbally requested by the petitioner.
I'll second it.
Okay, I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved and
Never have
seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 All right, very good. Thank you. Now we will move on to tab 5, which is the 2023 legislative update. Looks like we have Tommy Oakes. Tommy.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair. For the record, my name is Tommy Oakes. I'm the legislative liaison for or interim legislative liaison for the Gambling Commission. And today I'm here to talk to you about the legislative update so far. I can tell you it's been a very busy session. It's been a lot of, well, just to tell you, we have 7, with you count the companion bill, 7 gambling bills that are actually in the process or been dropped at this point. And none of them are what came from us. And so we've been working through that. I kind of want to give you a little bit of updates on where things are and kind of go from there. So our first thing to talk about is our bill 1132, House Bill 1132. That's our agency request legislation for our law enforcement officers, our limited law enforcement officers. It was on for executive today, and I can happily report that it came out of the committee 9-0, unanimous, and is now on to the approach. So really excited about that. Kind of give you a couple things that happened this month as well. We had Law and Justice Day yesterday on February 7th, so Tuesday, sorry. And what we had there is we're engaging legislators on our bill and trying to really just contact and kind of get awareness of the Gambling Commission. We ended up contacting 24 legislators that day. Staff was, numerous staff were there. It was a really good turnout and a great, just great representation, I thought, of the agency. I thought we did a real good job. I want to hats off to staff and to agents to show up and walk around the Capitol all day. It's been a long day, but it was a really good, I thought really turned out well. I think that was part of the result of the 9-0 for the unanimous.
Yes, the director. I just, as I guess an aside, did you get some feedback from our folks? I think this was the most that we've kind of engaged in this in recent memory. Did you, how did the agents feel about being up there in that environment and having the opportunity to speak to legislators?
Thank you. Yes, staff did enjoy it. I got to engage with a number of them. They came throughout the state, and so that was great. And they were well received. We have leadership try to attend the meetings with agents just to make sure that in case there are other questions that the legislators have from their constituents or want to talk about other legislative bills, that we can kind of help guide them through those conversations. But they were very well received as always from the legislators that they were visiting with, and staff enjoyed having that opportunity to participate in the process that will greatly impact them. So yes, it's a great day.
Yeah, well, thank you. And I know I was up on the Capitol campus a good portion of the afternoon that day. And yeah, it was really nice to see them around kind of all over the campus, you know, taking advantage of an opportunity to have those conversations. So thank you for engaging like that.
I will also add that some ex officios stopped by and said hello to staff as well. And so that was nice. So thank you.
All right, Tommy.
Continuing. Also, like I said, that was really good. Just to add a side note that I think just for future with Law and Justice Day, we did something different than we've done before. Usually they tell you to wear your uniforms And so everybody goes in uniform. We decided to do something different where we changed it, had them wear what they wear when they're out doing their job. So it doesn't put this whole, we don't walk into with all these uniforms on and a huge police presence. And I think it really got a lot of feedback from legislators that they really felt that was a really good thing. We also offered a lot of ride-alongs. We got to pick up a mini in the interim one that would like to go on ride-alongs with us. So I think we really got the message out. So that was a pretty good thing that I thought. So, all right. So continuing, we also had I think Commissioner Lawson, you had your hearing earlier this month or in January, and that went well. They placed her on the confirmation calendar. And so we're just waiting for that vote. So that should be happening soon. Right. And I'll let you know when usually it's very quick. Last year, it was like, all of a sudden you just get an email that says they're putting on the calendar for that morning and it happens. So they don't give you too much notice. So I'll try to give you one as soon as I find out, but it may be very quick. So, all right. Now, I want to talk to you about the bills that are have an impact on our industry. As commissioners, you can take a stand if you want to vote for or against or stay neutral. That is all your choice. As staff, our job when these bills are dropped, we go out around and we look for technical concerns. And we immediately try to address the bill sponsors and say, hey, we have some technical concerns, this, whatever's, from a regulatory standpoint, right? Not as far as a policy standpoint, because that's not our business. So these bills I'm bringing for you today is just talking to you about that. And I'll kind of give you a little bit of if we had staff concerns or not and kind of where that went. All right. So our first on our list is House Bill 1630, and it's got a companion bill, Senate Bill 5587, and this is authorizing sports wagering at card rooms and racetracks. So this bill's, staff looked at this bill. There's some technical concerns. We've addressed those with the bill sponsors. Right now, this bill does not have a hearing. Right, just so you're aware of the dates, February 17th is policy cutoff. So a week from tomorrow, they've got to be out of committee. So if they don't have a hearing at this point, it usually seems like may not be moving, or they're going to have to get a real quick hearing. So they have to have a public hearing and then an executive. And a lot of times if it's not scheduled by now, that doesn't appear to be moving. But we have addressed that with, like I said, the prime sponsors and got good feedback on that. So we're working with that.
I have a question, Madam Chair.
Yeah.
When the bill passed for sports wagering in tribal casinos, we did not take a position. Is that right? Did this agency take a position?
I believe we did. Go ahead.
Oh, in my look back, commissioners remained neutral on sports wagering bills. We, both in 2020 and in subsequent years with the other sports wagering bills that had been filed, you did focus on the 5 pillars of sports wagering that you outlined, that you had hoped to see in any sports wagering bill. And then in previous bills that have been filed, staff would testify whether or not there were technical concerns or concerns in terms of regulation, regulatory or technical concerns. Could you have remained neutral reviewing past history?
Okay. The next one that I'll talk about is House Bill 1438. And this is authorizing bona fide charitable or nonprofit organizations to conduct Calcutta auctions on shooting sports contests. This is mirroring the golfing sweepstakes is what it originally was intended that we were told. It didn't mirror it completely. And so staff was able to sit down with the prime sponsor and talk about the technical concerns of that it didn't mirror it completely, if there were some technical issues with it. And they offered an amendment and it was on for executive session today. And I do not know the results of that because I came over here. And so that's moving in the system. And then any questions, you can interrupt me at any time. All right. And then we have House Bill 1681 and Senate Bill 5634 was this problem gambling. These are the problem gambling bills. We had no technical concerns because it really is involving HCA and in funding pieces, right? It's not as much for the gambling piece, but it's something that obviously this commission has been very clear that it's something that near and dear. So we've been watching that, helping with that, or assisting with any technical concerns. And I can tell you that 5634 is on for exec today, I think at 10:30. And then 1681 is on exec for February 14th. Next bill will be House Bill 1707 relating to bingo conducted by bona fide charitable or nonprofit organizations. If you remember a few months ago in the summer, North Shore came out about the dual licenses in multiple counties. That they, you have to have the license in the county you're in. And so Representative Klobas has sponsored this bill, and we helped with the technical language. And now that bill is on for executive on February 14th as well. And the last bill I have to talk about was one that was dropped on Friday, and this is Senate Bill 5704. And it's concerning requirements for fundraising activities of bona fide charitable or nonprofit organizations. So this bill will, it has a lot of parts to it. And staff did a real quick read through, and we've met with the prime sponsor and talked about it. But basically, the best way I can describe this in a few words, it authorizes online raffles and fundraisers for nonprofits. It also allows them to conduct sweepstakes. It'll change record keeping requirements, and it'll change the 501c to add more eligibility to 501cs. There's a lot in this bill, to be honest with you. There's a lot in there. This bill has not got scheduled for a hearing as well, but we have met with the prime sponsor, like I said, talked to her about this, and then we are meeting with the nonprofits that have brought this bill forward. We're meeting with them tomorrow to talk about what they're really trying to accomplish and the different things or the issues they're having. That's all I have for you today. And any questions, concerns, or anything?
Any questions or comments? Any commissioners?
Yeah, I guess I'll only add that I've heard, just being up on the hill, I've heard good feedback on the work that's been done on 1132, our bill, and coordinating with multiple other agencies, being able to evaluate amendments and be able to get the bill to out of the policy committees. It's very noteworthy. I think that it's been very good work. So just wanted to acknowledge that.
So I'm just curious, Madam Chair, should we have a discussion about whether or not we want to, are you reading my mind?
Yeah, if we want to
Yeah.
support anything or not, yeah, I mean, we can have that discussion.
So House Bill 1630 is not moving. That's authorizing sports wagering at card rooms, I heard.
Correct. Has no scheduled hearings.
No hearings. House Bill 1438. It sounds like you thought it was, there was an amendment that was offered
Yes.
and it was adopted, and is it moving?
I don't know. The amendment was being voted on today.
Okay.
With the actual bill itself, so I don't know if it moved out of committee or not, or if there was a.
And is it an expansion of gambling, that bill?
So I just looked up 1438. It did not get exec out. No action was taken.
Okay.
So there were some, I think there I haven't watched, I don't know if there was some further discussion on the amendment or not. And when we do get asked the question about whether it's expansion of gambling,
Oh,
our response is that expansion of gambling is not a defined term in the Gambling Act. And we really leave that question up for the voting requirements to the Speaker of the House and the President of the Senate.
of course.
So.
Problem gambling, our prime sponsors are our ex officio Senator Conway, and then our former colleague in the House is Chris Stearns.
That's correct, ma'am.
And one of those might have moved today already.
Yeah, it was on, and I think it's on for 10:30 to 12:30 or 10 to 12 today.
Right. And then the final one that you talked to us about is Clova's bill relating to North Shore. Is that right?
Yes, and then there's one after that, the 5704 that's not in your packet because
Yeah.
that came in Friday.
Well, surprise, surprise, fellow commissioners, here it comes. This commission has been asking the tribes for years now to increase their contribution to problem gambling. And I think 10 or 12 of them, how many have agreed?
I'm going to say close to 10.
Close to 10. And so now finally, we have a bill in both chambers to ask the state to do the same thing. And I think it wouldn't be a good look for us to continue to ask the tribes to do that without saying that we support the state doing that. And that's what this bill will do. And there's very sound evidence from the state prevalence study that backs up the request. And the legislation is being considered very favorably. So just for the sake of our continued relationships with the tribes, I think that, and there are other reasons too, obviously, for those people who have that addictive problem, I think that it would be a good idea for us to support that legislation.
All right.
Thank you.
I agree with that.
I would only ask that we offer up public comment before we make a,
Always do.
Thank
I
you.
mean, that wasn't flippant.
Any other commissioner comments or questions?
I would agree with supporting House Bill 1681, Senate Bill 5634.
Right, and is there any public comment regarding any?
Yes.
Well, he's coming up. Madam Chair, I was present for one of the hearings, and I want to say that industry did weigh in and testify in favor of this legislation.
Thank you.
Merrick Person, the owner of Maverick Gaming, and we're supportive of this legislation. I would just be remiss as a platform if I didn't say that addiction knows no boundaries. Doesn't care if you're a Washingtonian playing in a card room, buying a lottery ticket, or playing in a sovereign nation like a tribal facility. Addiction doesn't care about boundaries. And so as the card rooms are linking up for self-exclusion when someone identifies as a problem gamer, I think the entire industry thinks that's a good thing. I doubt Victor wants a problem gamer who comes to my property, and I don't want his. I think that the commission should consider this platform as a person, as an entity that thinks through tribal compacts and has some influence, particularly on this legislation, that all of the gaming enterprises that happen in the state of Washington or in the sovereign tribal nations that, are enveloped by the state of Washington, we should all have a central database, because I, for one, don't want a gaming customer who identifies as having a gaming addiction problem who goes to Emerald Queen. I don't want him in my building, but I don't know that he has an addiction problem. He self-excludes. There should be one platform where when someone self-excludes, they're out of gaming in the state. And I think that it's really hard pressed for anyone to articulate a reason why I'm wrong. But yet this legislation doesn't contemplate that. But yet you guys do approve compacts. I think it should be part of your consideration. That's what I'd like to say.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any additional public comments or comments from commissioners?
Motion from me.
Yes.
So, Madam Chair, I move that the Gambling Commission express its support where are the bill numbers here? For House Bill 1681 and Senate Bill 5634. These bills relate to the topic of problem gambling.
Second?
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
I,
Aye.
Aye.
All right, the motion passes. Thank you. And I believe that brings us to the end of this public meetings. We'll now move into executive session at 11:30 a.m. I believe we will come back at 2:30 a.m. to reconvene the meeting for the sole purpose, or PM, sorry. 2:30 p.m. for the sole purpose of reconvening the meeting to adjourn. So thank you, everyone. Appreciate everyone's involvement today.
Will there be a public comment period at that time, at 2:30? Okay. No, I'm just,
No,
just.
any additional
looking.
public comments can be made via email. Thank you.
we are adjourned, Madam Chair.
Yes.
Recess.